Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the movie Hangout. Amazon's fake fan review destroyed by real fans. That's a topic of this video, but before I jump into this hilarious article, it's just the fact that Amazon cannot for the life of them learn. If you go on over, click subscribe, comment, like, I would super appreciate it. All right, guys, so look, I can't get enough of these bounding in the comics articles, okay? And I use them because there's so many just lame websites out there, like shill entertainment websites. All they're trying to do is just kiss up to the big corporations to get access. And bounding into comics and a handful of others do the exact opposite. Like they have no interest at all in groveling and bending the knee, and I respect that. So that's why I always use them. And plus, the articles are just hilarious. I love them. So, so basically, this article right here is about Amazon did a fake fan review like group with like super diversity fans, and these they're paid actors pretty much, and like they pretend to be super excited for this 1 minute long trailer, and the thing is just totally backfired because everybody can see this is just manufactured. It's not real. And so this article is The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power official Prime Video superfans review puts the focus on racial identity politics, as if we're not living in a divisive climate right now. They're going to pour this on even more. And what's even more ridiculous about making this whole thing about race is that if you actually know what The Lord of the Rings is all about, there already is different races of creatures in the story. I mean, the elves are a race, the hobbits are a race, human beings like man is a race. I mean, like those tree creatures, they're a race. The orcs are a race. The goblins are a race. I mean, it's endless diversity in these stories. So the fact that they would be changing it, changing how people look when there are the diversity is already in the story. Like literally, that's what it's about, and it's about people that are different coming together for a common good. And they're changing this. It just shows you that like people that have bought into the woke ideology, I almost think that they don't really want diversity. It's almost like they just want to destroy things that are already just established and rewrite, uh, different stories, different, history, because there's absolutely no reason to be changing this stuff around. And it's just it becomes even dumber, dumber and dumber the more they change it. So Prime Video and Amazon Studios shared The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power super fans review for the newly released trailer for the upcoming television, and the focus of the review has to do with racial identity politics, because of course it does. Of course it is. It can't be about art or writing or anything amazing like that. It's got to be just, this group looks like that. This is just a cringe image of, she's like the dwarf queen. But the problem is, in the stories and even in the movies, they talk about dwarf women have facial hair. They even have, so she doesn't have any facial hair here, so they're not even sticking to that, because they don't want this to be ridiculous. The Superband review was shared on the Amazon Prime Video UK YouTube channel. It was hosted by, I can't even, Mista Isla, I guess, a BBC Asian Network presenter, and featured the Fellowship of Influencers. Well, that's creative. And included Chanel Williams, Joel Rochester, and Kelsey Ellison. And here they are right here. Click on this and watch it. It is, I mean, you can already tell based on this thumbnail what this is going to be about. And the fact that Amazon can't just look at the thumbnail and go, okay, this looks ridiculous. But yeah, I would definitely go on over there and watch it. It's really something. When asked by Isla to describe the teaser trailer in 3 words, Williams responds first saying, breathtaking. I literally didn't breathe. Exhilarating and intriguing. Yeah, that's not dramatic or anything. Next, Rochester stated, I would say like expansive because we're getting this whole new look into the second age on screen and it's going to be so amazing. He continued, I also want to say representative because we're getting like more diversity within the series. Like we're seeing our first black elf. We're seeing the first female dwarf, and I'm very looking forward to looking at that. I honestly think like if that's how your mind works, you have a lot of issues because um, I don't know any normal person can not look at a mystical creature and I guess suspend their disbelief just a little bit. Like when I watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, none of the Ninja Turtles look like me. Okay, but I can kind of like have a connection to those characters. Um, I mean, it's this is just I don't know if you want to call it like narcissism. I think it might be, but it's like narcissism on steroids, pretty much. He continued, I also want to say representative because we're getting like more diversity within the series. Like we're seeing our first black elf, seeing the first female dwarf. Finally, he concluded, and then I guess like intriguing because obviously this period of history within the Middle Earth is very rife with notions of the plot of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, seeing how the rings of power are being forged. Ellison then said, I would say awestruck, mystified, and starstruck. I don't know why you would be starstruck, but okay. In the next bit, Isaiah begins saying, so in the teaser trailer, and obviously there's a lot of stuff that you've probably read about, we're introducing the first black elf, we're introducing the first female dwarf. Now diversity, especially on screen as an actor, means a lot to me because growing up I hardly saw that watching TV and watching a lot of films and stuff. I never saw people of my color, so it's exciting to see that diversity is being explored in the Rings of Power. Well, I think that Isla, I believe he's Middle Eastern and he lives in the United Kingdom. So that would only make sense that he doesn't see a ton of people that are Middle Eastern on TV. That would be like a British man going to the Middle East and then complaining he doesn't see a lot of British men on their TV. It makes no sense why you would assume that you're going to be seeing tons of people that look like you. Or like if a British man went to Japan and he doesn't see a ton of British men on Japanese television. I mean, I don't think any reasonable person would complain about that because it's just like this is where you live. It's different. But he expects to see more people, I guess, that look like him. And then why anybody would be moved at seeing a female dwarf, I have no idea. I don't know because the I don't know it's crazy. Rochester is the first to answer. He says, "I'm very excited for it because Tolkien's work was always about being inclusive." No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was at all. I think it was about good storytelling. I think it was about um, judging groups of people based on what they do rather than what they are. I think that's what it is. But it's not just about how people look. I mean, we see it through the Fellowship, like a bunch of people from different backgrounds coming together in order to face a common enemy being Sauron. True, but it's not just kind of the watered down, superficial inclusivity. There's a lot more to it. And just seeing the casting decisions is really, really exciting to see. It's just going to mean so much to me personally because it's getting that representation in Middle Earth. I I believe him when he says it's going to mean so much to him because it's getting that representation in Middle Earth. But the problem is that like this story of the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and all those other writings, those are based on European folklore and European history. So to take history from other parts of the world and insert it into it, it really doesn't fit. And that's why demanding representation in something that by definition doesn't have it because it doesn't fit, I mean, it's just narcissism. It says young kids are going to see that on screen and it's just going to be really nice for them to be like, oh, hey, there's somebody that looks just like me. At being like an elf and a dwarf, and it just fills me with a lot of hope for the future of Lord of the Rings and seeing much more diversity being included as well, he concludes. It's going to be inspiring, right, for the next generation. I personally, I don't think it is going to be inspiring at all. I really don't. I think the mark of a person's character can be defined by looking at people that maybe don't look just like you and they don't sound just like you, and you can still find some commonality between yourself and that character or people. But if you have to have somebody who looks like you or looks just like you, and it bothers you if you don't see that, um, I think that's an issue. I think Isla, I think he's got some issues. Williams is then prompted to give her thoughts, which she does. The drivel just goes on and on and on. And it says that Isla showing it says from there, Isla asks about the main characters, and the conversation quickly gets back to identity politics. Of course, because if you have no substance, that's what it does. As they discuss Galadriel and their new warrior makeover, Isla showing his ignorance of not only Tolkien's novels, but Jackson's films as well, describes Galadriel saying in the movies she's been very flowy, more serene. She's not doing much. And this time she's like full on action as he slams his fist into his palm. Williams then adds, we are so far in the past, and I'm so excited to just see this younger version of her, and there's so much. I'm definitely excited to see this kind of younger and maybe more inexperienced Galadriel and how we see through the rings of power, like how the experiences will shape her. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that there's any hope at all? Any hope at all for this Amazon The Rings of Power series? Now keep in mind, I think that Amazon has invested like $1 billion, maybe more, into this thing. I think they've committed to 5 seasons. I got to tell you, like, I'm kind of excited for this because it's going to be so bad and so cringe that it's going to provide entertainment because everybody's going to be picking it apart and just having a big laugh about it. But also, it's going to be so bad, it's going to get people to tell other people to read the original works, the original books of Tolkien. And I think that that could be a net positive. But in the meantime, I mean, this is just hot trash, pretty much. I mean, you can already tell. Look at this. Oh, it's like she's singing the opera or something. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But anyways, let me know what you think. Are you going to see this, or are you going to pretty much just cross it off the list? Not going to waste your time. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you want to get future rants, reviews, or original content, click subscribe. Later.